Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel HK Unique World. This channel is made for you to give you the information about the world history and also the biographies of the world famous persons and as well as the world literatures. Today I would like to talk about great kingdoms and the empires of the Anatolia. So it is the Turkish empires rises in Anatolia. So first of all, there was a great empire which was made by the Turkish, especially those who were the Seljuk Turkeys. Seljuks were a kind of Turkish peoples who were different from the Ottomans Turkeys. However, it was the time there's 750 when the Abbasid Caliphate was established, and 6 years later the Spain was actually broken away, and the times some special countries like the Tunisia and also the Egypt and also the Persia were actually separated from the Abbasid caliphates. However, at the times the Turkish, especially the Seljuk Turkeys, were being prepared for controlling the power of Baghdad. And at the times when they defeated the Abbasid rulers at the last moment and took the control and power of the Abbasid caliphates and took the power of Baghdad. And at the times the Seljuk Turkey were actually led by a great ruler, and Tugril Beg was the first and the prominent ruler of the Seljuk Turkeys. They were collecting soldiers from neighboring areas, and they were converted to Islams, and being the Islamic followers, the rulers actually consolidated their powers and positions. And at the times when the Parasic people were gradually taking the power for the Baghdad, but it was not lasted for a long time, and the Seljuk rulers took the power and controlled its territorial areas. However, among the old Seljuk rulers, it was the Malik Shah who was the most important rulers of the history of the Seljuk Turkeys. He was actually the son of a great ruler, Alp Arslan, who was also the prominent leader of the Seljuk. But it was the Malik Shah who actually was born in Iran, in a specific city whose name was Isfahan. Isfahan was the best cities and best city, and was strongly built by Malik Shah. And he was actually consolidating his power and enjoyed great freedom and powers by the person who was the Nizamul Mulk, actually the vizier of the Malik Shah, and also called the time the prime minister. So the great emperor of the Baghdad and also in the Parasics was the person, he was Malik Shah, and he adorned the Isfahan city with a great number of facilities and a great number of buildings, and other facilities were introduced by him. And in that way he was actually proven that the strongest ruler of the Seljuks. However, when he was fallen dead at the time of 1095, another force was coming to fight with the Seljuks, and it was the Pope Urban II who actually urged the Europeans and Westerns peoples to fight and it was the where of the crusade. Crusade means which was related with cross. The Crusaders were coming from the Western Europes, and they were coming to the Anatolias and taking powers and captures the Jerusalem and killings the Jewish and also the Islamic peoples mercilessly. And however, at the times when the Seljuks were awakening, at the times the great Kurdish leader Saladin was became the best leaders and gathers a huge number of the soldiers against the Crusaders, and it was the Richard Frost of England made a truce with Saladin and returns the Jerusalem to the Muslims' hand by the condition of protecting the Christians minorities and its holy places. In that way that the Crusaders actually left the place, but later there are two crusades were happening, but the times for the two times they were being defeated and the return to the Europes. However, at the times the Seljuks were becoming very weakening, and at the times another power was rising. It was the Mongols. The Mongols leader was the Genghis Khan, or the Genghis Khan, who was a very ruthless leader, and he was killing a great number of peoples when he went to any countries, and it was leveled by his soldiers and made arsons and actually burned the cities and the peoples. However, the times the Seljuks leaders or the rulers were becoming very weak, and at the times they found an opportunity. It was the Hulagu Khan, who was the actually grandson of the Genghis Khans, burnt the Baghdad city at the time of 1258, at the time when the Baghdad was ruled by a great king. He was named Masum Billah. So he was defeated strongly, and the Baghdad city was destroyed and burnt by taking different kind of strategies and techniques with making the fires and burns and killing hundreds and thousands of the peoples of the Baghdad. In that way, the Muslims rulers have lost their power, and they went under the leadership of the Mongols. So in that way, the Seljuks, the leaders and their administrations and powers were actually fell down, and due to the attack and counter attacks of the Mongols invasions. So the Seljuks, the last leader, the last ruler Malik Shah, when was dead, actually the Seljuks lost their hopes and expectation. At the times the Seljuks empires became fragmented, and their segmented areas were ruled by the minor kings and also separatists. So in that way, they are controlling the power of the Baghdad and surrounding areas by the Mughal rulers. So the Mongols were very dangerous, and for the peoples of also the Baghdad and Muslims. In that ways, the Seljuks actually lost their power, pompous and glorious history. However, another sect of the Turkish, of the Seljuks, were the Ottoman Turkeys, whose leader was actually the Osman, and the Osman was mispronounced by the British, and it was called the Ottoman, and from that Ottoman, the Ottoman Turkey becoming very, very important words. But the slaves, people of the Persics or the military and the soldiers which were actually made by the Persic rulers, and also the Abbasid caliphs were the Seljuk Turkeys. Those were very loyal and very obedient to their rulers, became gradually powerful at the time of the last moment of the Abbasid caliphates, and gradually becoming the most important persons in the history of the Seljuks, and they actually enjoyed great times in the Isfahan cities and surrounding of the capital city of Baghdad, and also the Persian territorial areas. However, their glorious history and their excellent workings were actually destroyed by the Mongol rulers. So that was really the concise history of the Seljuk Turkeys and the Turkish actually empires rise in Anatolia. So at the last moment, after the Crusades and after the invasions of the Mongols, the Ottoman Turkey would get the powers. So next time I'll be talking about the another Turkey's glorious history. So thank you very much those who are watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel and through some comments, and if you want to get more videos, please subscribe my channel. So thank you very much for staying with me.